Hello, crypto subjects, and welcome back to another episode of Subject Crypto. I'm your host, Ethan, and today the markets are looking a bit interesting. And we're going to be talking about Bitcoin's price, our market cap, as well as some other cryptocurrencies and why they perhaps aren't doing as well as Bitcoin. Also, at the end of the video, or like towards the end, maybe in the middle-ish, we're going to be talking about the new stimulus bill that is making its way through Congress. We know that it's been a very interesting exchange between the House and the Senate, coming to a compromise on what the bill should be exactly. So, without further ado, we got Bitcoin sitting up 1.68% in the last 24 hours, which is right now $10,861-ish. So, the market cap has made it once again past the $200 billion range. We got Ethereum down about 3%, sitting at $365-ish, and relatively down market for the rest. Polkadot coming up at about negative 4%, 515 maybe. Good entry point. I've heard many things about it, but I have not really looked into it too much, and perhaps I'm maybe missing out on that, but I do know that Chainlink used to be up there, so this is very interesting, and perhaps it has something to do with the amount of coin issuance, perhaps. So yeah, without further ado, let's do some Bitcoin technical analysis. So we have been watching this weekly bar in the previous episodes, and we did dip below it just a little bit, but it might not even matter because we've gotten a nice solid candle today. So this week has kicked off an astonishing 7.27%. So if you entered in down here when we had the pullback, you're looking pretty good. So kind of let's see what's gonna happen here in the future. So yeah, since we had a multiple day kind of an attack on this resistance level, and then we broke through it, I'm thinking pretty bullish. I'm thinking we're gonna go back up at least a little bit further, test this resistance here, which was our previous support. We're also coming in contact with the 50-day moving average. So right now, we are sitting in a very, very interesting spot. And I know I keep saying interesting because I can't think of a better word to say, but we're attacking it. It doesn't really seem to have any influence currently on the price, but it is bullish once again that we're above it. So let us see in the future if we come back up here into this box area, and personally, I'm thinking that's as far as we're going to go in the next week or so before having to retest it a few times, just because it was such a strong support in the past. So that will be interesting to see indeed. And I just realized that I said this was the 50-day moving average. That's a 20-day moving average, and this is the 50-day. So my apologies there. But the volume is looking pretty good. We got the RSI, which is heating up again. The squeeze momentum indicator is cooling off as well. Still on the downside, got a little ways to go. So as far as I'm concerned on there, all those are looking fine. But the VPVR is telling us that this is the range where we're going to start coming into conflict once again in terms of trading and volume. There's not much interest around here, so this is kind of why we had a nice little engulfing candle, a nice ignition to perhaps a small-term rally. So that is very interesting, and everything is looking pretty good. I'm just interested to see what happens to the price action at about 11.1. 11.1 is the range that I'm going to be looking at. Maybe just a little bit before, because if things get too obvious, if the chart is too obvious, people start taking profits a little bit earlier, just in anticipation of retesting those resistance levels. So yeah, that is. I think that's everything I have to say about this so far. And so let's check out some other coins. Let's check out Ethereum. Ethereum is looking a little down. These are all in the altcoins. At least my theory, and I'm pretty sure it's at least somewhat right because I've been staring at these charts for countless hours in the last few years. So what happens is when Bitcoin has a nice rally like this, the price has to catch up in terms of their Bitcoin comparative. So for there's a little bit of a delay between Bitcoin going up and the price of the altcoins going up afterwards. So when people buy up Bitcoin too quickly, or if it goes up fairly quickly, the price in terms of altcoins goes down because, well, the price of Bitcoin went up substantially and it doesn't really follow along with it, because if you go onto an exchange, you're exchanging your Bitcoin for altcoins. So then your altcoins get exchanged into Bitcoin, and so the price is in Bitcoin on pretty much every exchange, unless it's a fiat exchange. So yeah, that is my analysis for why these happen. But it's not really too much to worry about. I mean, the only other thing that could have happened is people saw a better opportunity in Bitcoin and sold off some of their altcoins to get Bitcoin. But I feel like it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. But yeah, we're looking not pretty good on anything. It was a red day. So since it was on everything and pretty much everything, just based off of the few coins that I did look at there, that's the only thing that makes sense to me. People saw a better opportunity in Bitcoin down here in the low 10,000 range before watching the price go up. They were very excited at those levels to sell off their altcoins and get some Bitcoin, and the altcoins didn't follow up because of that sell side pressure, as well as the inability to keep up with the price as Bitcoin's price went up as well. So that is my analysis of the market. Thank you for listening to that rant. Okay, so anyways, the stimulus impasse happened. Okay, but there is negotiations going back and forth between the Senate and the House, and they may have come to kind of a compromise. But we're going to see in the next few days if it actually passes and if everyone agrees finally. Because there is a lot of good things that will happen from this stimulus, as well as some bad things in terms of how much the dollar is going to be worth, but we don't really need to touch base on that. I touch base on that all the time. But yeah, so might be a great opportunity to buy some Bitcoin with your stimulus check, and that's not financial advice at all. If you need the money to pay for things that you or your family need, then definitely put it there. That's what the money is intended for. But for the lucky people out there who have been doing fine throughout this whole thing or recently, maybe it's a good time to put it away somewhere. And I think a lot of people are going to be doing that. But anyways, what this plan consists of: $1.5 trillion total. And where is this money going? Well, people are going to get $1,200 or more. So it could be even more, depending on the how the budget goes out entirely. But this is kind of what they estimated at. It's going to be at least $1,200, just like last time. Now, before we go on, there's also the aid for jobless. The jobless aid is $450 a week, which is a little bit less than last time, but there is the $600 weekly lost wages. So there is a little bit of a trade-off So if your wages are lost, you get the 600. But if you have lost your job entirely, you get the 450 for 8 weeks. And then you get to replace it up to 600 in weekly. So there's a little bit of difference there between the last stimulus bill, and then we got 500 billion strapped to state and local governments, and then less than nearly 1 trillion Democrats included, $1 trillion Democrats included in their 3.4 stimulus plan that passed through the House, but roughly double what the House had signaled it could support. So the House is like, I don't know if we can really pay that. So that's why the stimulus bill has been going back and forth, and so they negotiated at the $1.5 trillion range. So where else is this money going? We're going to skip down here a little bit where they break it down a little bit better. But so, in addition, why is it doing this? In addition to money for state and local governments and school lawmakers, included $100 billion for testing, contact tracing, and other health initiatives to try to increase the nation's testing capacity to 3 million tests a day. So $100 billion is going for testing and health initiatives and things like that to try to combat the virus itself. So that is very nice. And they're trying to get that capacity up to 3 million tests a day, which would mean that the entire United States would be able to get tested in 111 days. So that's something. That's more than we have now, certainly. But this is also expanding. They're also looking to use that money to fund the 2020 census and get an accurate account in there, as well as doing the election stuff, funding all of that as well. So now this is where a lot of the impact will go. So $25 billion for mortgage and rental assistance. This is great. This is great for the people who have fallen back on their rent payments, and I believe, as well as mortgage payments, and I believe that currently the United States is sitting at about $21 billion behind rent. So this covers that and adds a little bit more for months to come. And it also, I don't know if it says in this article, but it also extends the ban on evictions. So, and that's through until January, which is good as well. $130 billion for schools, $15 billion for postal service, and as well as the elections and health crisis and food assistance programs. So there's also food assistance programs, which I believe cover women and children 18 and younger. So unfortunately, I am not one of those, but I believe that there's other food assistance programs that are, those are the guaranteed. The guaranteed is the women and the children 18 and under, and then there's other things like food stamps and stuff like that they're revamping a little bit. So that's cool. But yeah, the $130 billion for schools, that's great. That's probably going to help out with if teacher pay is not included in the previous $600 a week, then this would help with that, as well as maintaining the buildings, making sure that they're clean, and hopefully more things to help protect the kids, because that is a big problem right now. There's a lot of complaints, a lot of the schools. I'm getting this firsthand from my brother. He's still in school, and there's a lot of complaints from the parents that they're still doing school at the schools. So hopefully this will help them get that cleaned up, or at least give them supplies to go to school at home and be able to do it fine. So that's good. And then the postal service, keeping packages clean, keeping the workers clean as well, and yeah, everything like that. So yeah, this stimulus check looks like it's not catered as much to corporations as the last one. I think that there might be a little bit, there's a little bit going to businesses, but not nearly as much as last time. I think they're kind of fending on their own a little bit more going forward. So yeah, we got a few good things going through. Hopefully this will be the compromise. Hopefully we get some more money from the printer, fresh off the press, nice and warm. That's how I like my money. And yeah, hopefully it's good enough to help us get through this time of crisis. And that being said, that covered everything that I was going to go through today. I'm sorry it's been like a week since I did my last video, but I've been incredibly busy doing busy things. And you can leave in the comments what you think those busy things are. Just keep it PG-13, and no, we're not going to bring it there. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, if you got any sort of information that you found valuable, go ahead and you can drop a like or subscribe, because I will be bringing more, hopefully, valuable content in the future. You can follow me on Twitter at SubjectCrypto. You're going to know exactly when I drop every video, as well as some things that are on my mind. And I also want to know kind of what's on your mind. So, thank you everybody for tuning in, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.